Hello, welcome to our third chapter in which we will study about equation, inequalities, and how we can solve equation and inequalities. What is the difference between expression and equation? Expression is a mathematical term in which you do not have any equal sign. Once you have equal sign, that becomes equation. It is not longer an expression. So you can say two expressions, and if they have equal sign in between, another expression, so it is an equation. All right, so what if you do not have equal sign, you just have any inequality, or it might be any equal and inequality also. For example, let's say we have this sign, which means like less than and equal also, so it is equal or lesser. So it does not matter. Whenever you have two expression on both sides, either in between there is equality sign or inequality sign, this is not longer just an expression. This is a combination of expression which will be either equation or inequalities. So the first lesson in this is how we can solve linear equations. To solve linear equation, there are three main steps. What are those steps? The first step is, first you have to rearrange them, then we have to simplify it, then we have to divide or multiply depending on the coefficients. All right, so once we will solve the question, it will be easy to understand for you. Let's say we have 3x plus 8 is equal to, let's say, 13. All right, so what you have to do, first rearrange. What is the first step? First step means you will keep variable in one side. All the terms which are having variable, you will keep them in on the one side. In this question, we just have one term, which is 3x. So you will keep it on this side, and whatever you are having rest of it, you will move it to other side. So it will be 13 minus 8, which will be 13 minus 8 is 5. Then it comes, this is simplification. You did simplification, second step. Now the third step is you have to divide or multiply. Divide or multiply by what? By coefficient. So we can just find only x. Whatever value you are having attached to x, you will, if it is in multiplication, you will divide it. The same rule which we have studied before. So this is the solution of the equation. And then if you want to check your answer, you can plug this value into the equation. If the left hand side is equal to right hand side, it means the value of x is correct. Let's do it. Let's verify. It will be 3 multiplied by, what is the value of x? 5 over 3 plus 8 is equal to 13. 3 and 3 cancel. 5 plus 8 is equal to 13. 13 is equal to 13. So it's very easy, I believe. Let's do another question which we have variable on both sides. Let's say we have 4x plus 3 is equal to 2x minus 4. Let's say we have this one. So how we will solve it? What is the first step? The first step is you have to rearrange. Rearrange means you will keep the variable on one side. So it means whatever terms you are having, you will choose which side you want to choose. Let's say I want to choose left hand side. So the term which is having x and they are not on left side, I will move them on to left side. So for x, 1, 2x will come here. It will be -2 because we will change the negative sign of the term. All right. Also, once we will move this 3, so it will be -4. And as it was positive, so it will become negative. -3 and -4, it will be -7. 4 minus 2, it will be 2x. So x will be equal to -7/2. Again, if you want to verify, you can verify it. I think it is clear and easy. There is nothing to spend much time on this chapter. It's very easy. All right, now we have solved how we can, we have learned how we can factorize by different means, by factorization, by completing square, or by quadratic formula, right? So now we will see if, what if we have equations, how we can solve quadratic equation. We studied by factorization before, so how we can do by completing square. We discussed the formulas, we discussed how we can use the formulas, and the last thing which is new, it is quadratic formula. Today we will learn how we can use quadratic formula and what is quadratic formula. All right, so first of all, factorization. Let's say we have a question. I am going to take this one question and I will do it by factorization. Then we'll move to the next question for completing square, and the same question or another question for quadratic formula. All right. Normally, people recommend, if you try to factorize it, you couldn't solve it, then go for completing square. If you couldn't solve by completing square, the last step is quadratic formula. But generally, any question, either you can solve it or not, you can use quadratic formula to simplify it and find the correct answer, or you can say find the correct zero of the quadratic equation. All right. Or you can also call it solution. Zero and solution, they are same. Zero means if it is the equation is equal to zero at that point. All right, so what is factorization? Just recall, we have to factorize what? This 6 factors of 6. I'm sorry, my handwriting is little bit bad today. And sum, there's some. Okay, just recall, we studied in last chapter, we have to factorize this C. Which factors you will take? The factors which will give you -5, and you will add or subtract them depending on the value. Okay, all right. So we have 1 and 6, and we need negative value. So it means we need negative value when you subtract them. So -6 plus 1 is -5. All right. You have -2 and -3. They are 6. When you multiply them, you will get 6, right? Positive 6. When you will subtract them, it will be addition, so it will be -7. Actually, we cannot use -6. The problem why we cannot use -6 is because in the factors we need a positive value only. That's why we cannot use -6. All right. So the factors are -2 and -3, and their sum is -5. The sum was 7 here. We don't need to do any further stuff. So it will be, I'm just solving it directly as I told you last time. So x minus 3, x minus 2 is equal to 0. All right. So from here, when you have two numbers, this number and this complete number, they are in multiplication and their answer is 0. There is only one possibility, which is either the first number is 0 or the second one number is 0, because there is no other option to find product of two numbers 0 only if one of them is 0. So it means either, I'm sorry, it means either x minus 2 is equal to 0 or x minus 3 is equal to 0. So if x minus 2 is equal to 0, x will be equal to 2. If x minus 3 is equal to 0, x will be equal to 3. All right. So I think it's pretty easy to factorize it, as we learned factorization. The only difference was the last thing which I just did here. So this is how we do it while you are going for solving linear equation also. All right. So now Let's solve the same question by using quadratic formula. What is quadratic formula? This is a quadratic formula. X is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. All right. So before using quadratic formula, let's write what is a, what is b, and what is c. C is equal to what? From the equation, quadratic equation, a is 1, the leading coefficient. B is the coefficient of the variable where the variable has power 1 only, and the constant term is C. Just plug these values into quadratic formula. So x will be equal to minus 5 plus minus square root of minus 5 square minus 4 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 6 divided by 2 multiplied by 1. All right. So let's see if we are going to get the same answer as we got from the factorization or no. So it will be x is equal to minus plus 5 plus minus square root of 5 square is 25. 4 multiplied by 6 is 24 over 2a. Sorry, it will be just 2 because 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. So it will be x is equal to 5 plus minus square root of 1 over 2. Square root of 1 is 1. So we'll have x is equal to 5 plus 1 over 2, or x will be equal to 5 minus 1 over 2. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 5 minus 1, 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. See, if you remember when we solved this question, same question by factorization, you got the same answer, right? So this is the method how we can use quadratic formula. I think it's pretty easy because it's just revision. We don't need to go further in detail or do more practice. You can do all of your practices just for your reminder how you used to solve it. All right. So by completing square, this question will be pretty hard for doing by completing square, because the problem is you have to do it by 2ab. Let's do it. I do not have a problem. Because what we have to do is compare it with a plus or minus b whole square is equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square, or the formula a minus b square is equal to a plus b multiplied by a minus b. So there are three formulas. You have to make sure which one you need to find out. All right. So in this form, in this question, you cannot do it same as this one. So what you can do, either you can use plus 1 or minus 1. Here we have minus in between, so we will be using minus 1. All right. So what is the formula? X square. First term, whatever you are having, make it as a square. Then you have a minus sign. All right. Then you have a 2. Then you have a first term, which is x. Now you had just 5 here. All right. You got 2. So any number you multiply with to get 5 is 5 over 2. Yani it means when you will multiply it, you should get the same number. You cannot change anything by yourself. From here, what this will give you, it will give you the value of b, because we are comparing it with this one, and you will move this 6 to other side, it will be equal to negative 6. So what is the remaining for the formula? The remaining thing is b square. So plus whatever b you found, add its square on both sides. 5 over 2 whole square. So on this side, you will have x minus 5 over 2 whole square will be equal to negative 6 plus 25 over 4. 25 square is 5 square is 25. 2 square is 4. So it will be x minus 5 over 2, you will have negative 24 plus 25 divided by 4. I took LCM, least common denominator, and multiplied. So it will be square x minus 5 over 2 will be equal to square root of plus minus 1 over 4, which will be x equal to 5 over 2 plus minus 1 over 2. So x will be equal to 5 plus 1 over 2, or x will be equal to 5 minus 1 over 2. So again, x will be equal to 3, x will be equal to 2. So it does not matter which method you are using, the final factors of any question or any equation will remain same. It will not have any effect on the factors. All right. So it does not matter. Whichever method suits you, you can use it. But there are some limitations for factorization. Some question you cannot factorize. You can use completing square, or some question you cannot even use completing square method. So the only method which will be applied to all type of quadratic formulas or quadratic equation is quadratic formula. So whatever comes, if you do not know how to do by factorization or how to do by completing square, you can still use quadratic formula for any type of questions. All right, so let's move on. Now we have solving systems of linear equation. The first method is solving by graphing. The second is by substitution, then by elimination and using matrices. In most of the curriculums, the last one is not really applicable. They do not have such thing like matrices in mostly in American curriculum. I'm not sure about IGCSE. So I will not be going through using matrices. Even though it is easy, it is not much hard when it is just 2 by 2 uh, matrices. You just have to take the joint and everything. But as it is not useful much in calculus, so because AB calculus does not have matrices, so we'll not go for matrices also. So first thing we will do by graphing. Okay, I will tell you what to do. I will not graph it completely. I will tell you what to do, and then we'll go for substitution. Let's talk about graphing. What you have to do first, you have to simplify it and solve it for y. So each equation, let's say it is equation 1, it is equation number 2. Equation 1 will be, let's say 3y will be equal to 8 minus 2x. I can solve it directly. I'm just doing step by step because of you, so you will understand. What I did, I moved this 3 to other side, so it was in multiplication. On the other side, it will be division. Now, you have this equation, and equation number 2 will be y is equal to 4x minus 2. I move this y to the side to make it positive and 2 to this side, so 2 will be negative. So this is your second equation. Now, what you have to do, you have to graph these two equations. How you can graph it? You can graph it by comparing it with two generalized linear equation, which is y is equal to mx plus b, where m is slope. All right. So you have to move 4 steps. The formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It means the next number on the right side will be 4 steps up and 1 step to the right. So from here you can see 4 up, 1 right. All right. And negative 2 is y-intercept, where the value of x is 0. So it means for this equation, if this is the graph, at minus 2, it will cross your x-axis. And for this one, it is at 8 over 3, which will be 2 point something, positive 2 point something, it will cross like from here for this equation number one. So you will graph it. For example, let's say it is being graphed like this, and for the equation number one, you have this graph. I did not graph it according to the actual graph. I just give you an example to explain it to you. So the solution of this will be at this point. The solution of this will be at this point, the value of x here and the value of y at this point will be the solution for this system of linear equation. All right. What is meant by solution? Solution means these two equations will be satisfied on those points. If you plug these x and y value in these equations, the equation will be satisfied. There are some cases in which you have infinite many solutions, in which you have no solution, in which you have one solution. Uh, Depending on the equation, if you have, for example, a line and there is a parallel line, so they are not going to cross each other, so you have no solution in this case. But on the other hand, if you have a line and on it, like we have two lines same, so they will have infinite many solutions. There will be infinite many points on which both of the equations or both of the lines, they are intersecting each other. Actually, they are not crossing, intersecting. All right, then we have this form. Here you have one line, okay, and you have another one. They are crossing at just one point, this one point. So it means this system of equation, linear equation, will have only one solution. All right, so this was the quick review about it. Let's move to the second method of solution, which is by substitution. Why this is coming? Okay. So for substitution, what you can do, all right, choose any one equation, solve that equation for one variable, plug the value of that variable into another equation, you will find the values of the variable. For example, in this question, it is easy to solve for y because y does not have any coefficient, which is -1. So once we will move to right side, it will be +1. So we will have this equation will be 4x minus 2 is equal to y. So what I will do, I will plug this value of y from 3, equation number 3, let's say this is equation number 3, into equation number 1. Let's say it is equation number 1. So you will have 2x plus 3. What is the value of y? 4x minus 2 is equal to 8. What I did, I just plugged the value of y instead of this y, 2x. So you will have 2x plus, again, whenever you are using all the methods you learned, BDMAS or whatever the concept you are having, you are going to use by each step. So now you will use distributive property. It will be 3 multiplied by 4x plus 3 multiplied by minus 2x will be equal to 8. I do not know what's going on, why it is doing this. All right, so you will have 2x plus 12x minus 6x will be equal to 8. All right. So we have 2 plus 12, 14 minus 6 is, right? Okay. Where is it? Okay, I will do it again. No problem at all. I don't know what it, why it is playing with me. So we have x will be equal to 8 divided by 8. So we will have x is equal to 1. So it again, it does not matter with which method you are using. If I'm getting this answer as by the method of substitution, you will get the same answer by graphing and also by elimination. All right, so let's take, I think it is easy and substitution is clear. Let's talk about elimination. What is elimination? Elimination means instead of uh, plugging that value of one variable into other equation, you will just eliminate one variable from both equations. Let's say how we can eliminate it. Let's talk about this. You have equation number one, equation two. All right. Now, if I will multiply equation number 2 by 3 and then I will add it with equation number 1, what will happen? This will be negative 3y, this will be 12x, and this will be 6. Negative 3y plus 3y, they will cancel out. Then you will just have you eliminated y. You just have an x, you can solve it. Or the other method for elimination is for this question, I multiply this one by 2. So you will have 4 and you will have 6 and you will have here 2 multiplied by 8, which is 16. Then you will subtract these two equations. Let's say this is negative, so it will be cancelled out. All right. So I will go for the first thing, which how I explained, which is I will multiply first by 3 and second as it is, sorry, second equation by 3 and first equation as it is, and then I will add them. For so how you will do it, 3 multiplied by 4 is 12x minus 3y is equal to 6. This is equation number 2 multiplied by 3. Then you have one equation number 1 as it is, which was 2x plus 3y is equal to 8. You will add them. 3y minus 3y will be cancelled out. So you will have 12 plus 2, 14x will be equal to 8 plus 6 is 14 also. Now you will divide 14, 14, it will be, x will be equal to 1. See, before I use substitution method, now I use elimination method. So now both are giving me the value of x, which is 1. So it is pretty clear. If I got same value of x, the next step was same. I did not solve the complete question last time because I was going to show you what will happen by elimination method. Either we are going to get the same result or no. So now the value of x is same. So now it does not matter which method you used before, either substitution or elimination. Now we can plug this value of x in any of the equation and we can find the value of y. So let's say value of x was 1. So let's say equation number 1 will be 2 multiplied by 1 plus 3y is equal to 8. 3y will be equal to 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. Then you will move to the other side. It will be negative 2. So 8 minus 2 will be 6 divided by 3 because 3 was in multiplication. 6 divided by 3, so y is equal to 2. So it means if you are going to get the order pair of this, so it will be 1 and 2. This is the solution. It does not matter which method you are using, either graphic method, substitution method, elimination method. Even by matrix, you will get the same answer. Okay, so this was how we can solve equation and inequalities. For more practice, you can go for math worksheets. The website which I prefer is Kuta Software. You can just write the name of the lesson. For example, solving system of linear equation by substitution method, by graphing method, or by elimination, whatever you will write, you will get the questions to solve, to practice, and then at the end you can get the answers also. All right, now let's talk about linear solving inequalities and understanding their graphical representation. Okay, so let's say we have an linear inequality, which is y is greater or equal to x plus 1, let's say. So what you have to do, how you can solve it. Before, let's not go for the system of inequalities. Let's talk about just simple linear inequalities. Y is equal to x plus 1. Let's talk about the equation. Meanwhile, we are talking about y is, I wrote greater or lesser, I do not remember, x plus 1 or whatever I wrote, no, doesn't matter. Okay, now on one side we have equation, on the other side we have equation. If you are going to solve, the methods are still same for inequalities. Either we can solve by elimination method, by you can say substitution. Most of the time it will be more efficient to use substitution method in case of inequalities. So you can use graphical method also to solve linear inequalities. Okay, now how we can graph it? The graphing method is same. You have to consider it as same as the equation. That's why I am comparing it. So the only difference I will tell you, x plus 1. So it is 101. It is at 1 when x is 0. The value of y is 1. Okay, so this is your first point. Then it will go one step and up, one step and up. So it will make this straight line. Okay. Now, this is the equation for, sorry, this is the graph for this equation. Now, if you are talking about inequality, the graph for inequality depends on the sign. Till this point, this is the initial graph for this inequality, but it is mentioned the value of y is less than x plus 1. So all the values which are less than this line in y means all the area under this line is the solution of all the yellow part which I'm doing under this graph. So all the values under this line are included in this one. If it was, let's say it was x, let me choose another color. Okay, if it was y is greater than x plus 1, so all the graph above this line, because the values of y are greater above this line, right? So all the graph above this line is solution of this inequality. If it was, in this case, in these two cases, it is not equal. The graph or the solution does not lie on the line itself, unless you will have something either equal or greater or lesser. Then it also lies on the line. Now, if you have system of inequalities, all right, if you have system of inequalities, let's say you have one line which was like that. You had one line, it was the area of this line was lying under the graph, and you have another inequality which is let's say it is like this, and the graph of this inequalities lies above, let's say. So all this side is the graph of this inequality. All right, now if you want to talk about the solution of the system of linear equation, the solution of this system of linear inequality will lie where both of the equation are having above this red line but below this blue line. So the solution will lie of this inequality in this region. Tamam. I think it's very easy, and Understandable. Okay. Absolute value equations and inequalities. This is the lesson which we will be studying in next lesson. Till that time, if you have any question in chapter 1, chapter 2, or any question in the following chapter 3, you can write in the comments and let me know so I can discuss with you. And if you feel any type of problem in solving equation or understanding, just to let me know so we can solve it and have a look in depth. Till that time, take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.